What's up, athletes? It's Austin Pace, owner of Amp Performance Gym. Thanks for tuning back into the channel. I told y'all we're gonna be uploading consistently. In this video, I wanna switch it up, provide y'all with some value, okay? Look, today, I want to talk about some different things that might be a huge reason why you are not as fast as you could be. I believe in this video, I can make you a lot faster in just about 5 minutes. Let's go. So regardless of what sport you play, as an athlete, you have to understand the different phases of running. Okay, number one is acceleration. This is that very piston-like leg action in that drive phase, the first 20 yards of whatever it is, whether you're running a 40-yard dash, feeling a base. Okay, this is the most relevant phase of running in most team sports. Okay. The other one is top speed. We're not really gonna talk about it much today in this video, but that's when you are nice and upright, almost leading with the hips, and that leg action is very cyclical, okay? It's important to understand the difference between these two and why you would be using one over the other. So I have an old video on my channel where I break down a couple wall drills, which are great to practice on your own, but I want you to look at the fastest athletes in the world, your favorite athletes, like someone like Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham Jr., regardless of any sport, Mike Trout. These people have fantastic drive phases. They're great at acceleration. And I want to talk about a couple different things that are going to really click in your head and make sense to you. It's going to be best though if you film yourself doing a 10-yard sprint. I've had tons of clients when they first come in to work with me, I film them running 10 yards as fast as they can. I don't give them any coaching cues. I just want to see what they naturally do. Tons of things can occur. Let's break it down. So I measured off 10 yards here. I think it is very common for a lot of y'all to think, okay, I need to run 10 yards from point A to point B as fast as I can. So when you get ready to run, a lot of y'all think the faster I'm moving my legs, the faster I'm actually accelerating. That is false. I don't want you to think about fast, quick, lower limb action. I want you to think about long. Okay, long is fast, long is powerful, because when we're accelerating, those ground contacts are a lot longer compared to when we're at top speed and we're upright and we're very cyclical. So it is okay to have our foot down on the ground longer. That's gonna allow us to get more power and really lengthen our body to make those strides long and get us into that top speed quicker. So I see it all the time. Athletes come in here, I say, okay, run through 10 yards as quick as I can. So they're here, whatever 2-point, 3-point stance I have them in, and they're trying to move really fast, okay? And when I go back and look at the video, man, they're not using their length to their advantage. And when I say length, what I'm really talking about is that hip extension, seeing that separation in the hips. I'm also talking about that thoracic extension, okay? Because we have a rounded upper back, it's gonna be very hard to get that hip extension. So we gotta be long with the arm swing, we gotta be long with the hips. That is going to lengthen our body and allow us to attack the ground behind us, okay? We're trying to project out, not up. So when we contact the ground, that has to be under, behind our center of mass. That's what's going to give us that hip extension, project us out. So let me show you a couple drills. I want you to film yourself. If you're that athlete that is not getting full extension and your strides are short and you look all hunched over, I want you to do a couple things I'm about to show you. For that upper back, extension that we need to be long with our posture, you can just do a simple seated, heels on the ground, thoracic extension. So my elbows are tucked in, I'm relaxed, then I'm gonna sit up as tall as I can. I'm gonna feel this right in the middle of my back, hold it for 3 to 4 seconds. Okay, we'll do sets of 10 to 12 reps. Okay, another one, this is probably most important. It's that hip extension I'm talking about, that hip separation. So this is a simple dowel drill. We're gonna use this for posture and getting that feeling. So if we're in a good, nice, tall posture for running, I'm gonna have people do a single leg RDL, but I'm gonna have you bend your knee quite a bit on the way down, okay? And when you come up, I don't want you to think about the knee drive. If all you're thinking about is the knee drive, you're probably gonna come from here to here, okay? And that's what you're doing when you're running. We don't want that. So I'd rather you think about, instead of thinking about the knee drive, think about pushing the ground away and getting 2 inches taller at the top by pushing through that leg. That's good. Doing that is gonna take us to that full hip extension. And then when we switch, I'm nice and tall, and I can do the same thing on this side. Push, switch, push, switch. I'm not thinking about this knee at all, just pushing the ground away from me. The number 3 is the arm swing. When we are accelerating, that arm swing has to be long. It's a swooping arm action. The last thing you want to do is just be bending at the elbow joint. So I want you nice and tall. I want those arms straight. get used to doing a full range of motion through the shoulder joint. So start with straight arms. You can start slowly open up the hands. And I want you to really think about driving those arms down and back, okay? I would rather maintain a longer arm drive where it's moving through the shoulder joint, really swooping down and back. Oh, fuck. I was tired. The second thing I see when I first film the athletes running that 10-yard sprint is how vertical their shin angle is. That makes their foot get far out in front of them. So I want you to understand this. Wherever your shin angle is at takeoff, that first stride, that's gonna be the angle of your body. We know we have to stay low to project out when we're accelerating. So we have to let that knee travel over the toe, and then that second leg coming through has to have a sharp shin angle. This is where the wall drill is really good to be able to re-emphasize that. I'll go through this real quick. You can watch that old video. So we're getting an acceleration technique. We're not here, right? This is top speed. Top speed is 90-degree knee hip flexion with that ankle right underneath the knee. For acceleration though, we need that knee forward, toe up, a lot more sharp angle with the shin. You can practice just a posture hold. You can also do a load and lift. But here's a couple more advanced drills, things that I like to do that really translate to being able to help athletes understand this feeling. So if you have a mini band and some heavy kettlebells or dumbbells you can set up to hold on to, this is a really great drill. If you don't have this stuff, that's okay too. I can show you a different variation to do, but you're gonna put it around your feet. Almost think about you're setting up, you know, in the blocks if you're a track athlete, or just pretty much getting in a push-up, like mountain climber position. You're gonna sit back into those feet. Same thing as the dowel. I'm not really necessarily thinking about the knee drive. That's gonna get me rounded. I want you to think about pushing that opposite foot away from you. And look what this does. This forces a sharp shin angle, okay? This enforces that my foot's not gonna get out in front of me, and by my next stride, I'll be able to punch back behind me. So you can do simple load and lifts, pop. Once you get more comfortable with that, you can go bam, switch, switch. And then you can do some 5-second all-out sprints where you're getting that feeling of maintaining that sharp shin angle, punch it back, punch it back, punch it back. Okay? It's gonna light your hip flexors up. Probably the most important, but maybe the hardest thing to get down for the acceleration phase. So the athletes who really pop up out of that first step, a good drill is if you have a partner, get a pad or something that's not gonna hurt your knee, have them hold it pretty far out so we can get a long stride that first step and pretty low, okay? Because when we're accelerating that sharp shin angle, if you're breaking a glass panel, you gotta be breaking a glass panel here by driving your knee forward. You don't wanna break it here. This is more top speed, so I'm not gonna come out and try to drive my knee up. I'm gonna have someone hold the pad out there relatively far, so that forces me to drive my knee out so I can punch the ground behind me. Now, thus far, we've talked about getting your full length, feeling long. That's what's going to allow us to stride out, be powerful, and then when we pair that with the sharp shin angle, now our ground contacts and our projections are where they're supposed to be to get us to accelerate fast, to get us to that top speed as quick as possible. You do those things, film yourself before and after, you will see an amazing transformation in just 10 minutes. But you have to understand that those are things that can be fixed like that. Technique is the quickest way to improve a skill, something like accelerating, but there are some other limiting factors or things that you need to understand that could be holding you back as well. Let's think about the most important muscles that we need to be able to fire when we are sprinting and accelerating. Number one, definitely just the posterior chain, ideally the glutes. So if you are new to the gym, haven't really trained much, you don't have to go into these crazy heavy ass exercises. Let's just learn how to contract the shit out of our glutes and get that mind muscle connection so we understand what it feels like for them to be used, whether we sprint, jump. There's tons of different exercises, and especially with young athletes, I will have them do this a lot of times before we do our acceleration drills so they can get those muscles fired and activated. A little bit of the hamstrings too for acceleration. But then number two is the hip flexor. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand that running is as simple as you don't have to think about anything else, like waist up, it's quiet, okay? Knee down, it's quiet. The only movement with running comes from the hips, okay? So there's a lot of drills that you can do where you're just marching, feeling all that action coming from the hips. That pelvis should stay nice and neutral. And what's gonna help with that is number three, your core strength, okay? not crunches, not leg raises. I'm talking how our core should be trained as an athlete. Your core should be trained to stabilize yourself and resist resistance, right? We do not want to move. We want to be able to have all that action nice and stable. A strong core is going to allow you to do all that. The hips, the core, the trunk, all of it works in conjunction with each other. And then the last one, this is a sleeper, is having stiffness in our Achilles tendons, our ankles, because when we're striking the ground, we know that we should be striking with the ball of our foot, and that's good that you know that, but if you're not able to maintain that stiffness, every time you strike the ground, that foot's gonna collapse, and all that stored energy and elasticity is pretty much lost, and you're gonna spend too much time on the ground at that point. So there's a lot of different drills you can do, such as a ball of foot balance, different calf raise variations. All this stuff is going to burn like hell all the way around there, but it's going to build that stiffness so you do not collapse that foot every time you contact the ground. And the last thing you're wondering is, Austin, what about flexibility? Do I have to do static stretching? My coach told me that my hamstrings are tight, so I should static stretch every day. No, listen, you just want to be able to have the ranges, right? You don't have to be super flexible. As we get stronger with these posterior muscles and as our quads and our hip flexors get bigger as we train longer, yes, you want to do dynamic stretching in different areas, the hip flexors, the psoas, okay? Keeping the hamstrings loose, just enough that we can stay strong in those ranges, but have that range to be able to work through running and acceleration technique. Now guys, I didn't show you the sexiest stuff in the world. I wasn't talking about plyometrics, which are definitely very valuable and a tool you can use to get a lot more explosive and faster, but I want you guys to do this. Film yourself, like I said, do a lot of these things, figure out what your limitation is, implement the drills, come back and film yourself after 30 minutes of doing some drills and some squeezes and see if you improve it. That's the fastest way I can get you guys faster. Maybe I'll do a video in the future where we're really talking about programming and now the certain exercises with your strength training and plyometrics you should do based off whatever level you're at and age. But I hope this video helps. And I want to do more videos like this. On my TikTok, y'all love the valuable videos, so I want to bring that over into longer form content on YouTube. This wasn't a vlog. We got a lot of cool shit happening this week. We get the podcast studio, just lots of cool shit I'm excited to share with y'all. Thank you guys for watching this video. Leave it a thumbs up, comment below for my next topic you want me to cover. Maybe I'll have Saul come film some training sessions. Until next time, see ya.